Welcome back to the Daily Poem here on the Close Reads Podcast Network. I'm David Kern, and today is Monday, March 2nd, 2020. Welcome to March. Today's poem is by Richard Lovelace, a 17th century English poet who lived from 1617 to 1657. And the poem that I'm going to read today is called To Althea from Prison. I'll read it once, as usual, offer a few comments, and then read it again. And this is how it goes. When love with unconfined wings hovers within my gates, and my divine Althea brings to whisper at the grates, when I lie tangled in her hair and fettered to her eye, the birds that wanton in the air know no such liberty. When flowing cups run swiftly round, with no allaying Thames, our careful heads with roses bound, our hearts with royal flames, when thirsty grief in wine we steep, when health and draughts go free, fishes that tipple in the deep know no such liberty. When like committed linnets I with shriller throat shall sing the sweetness, mercy, majesty, and glories of my King, when I shall voice aloud how good he is, how great should be enlarged winds that curl the flood, know no such liberty. Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage. Minds innocent and quiet, take that for an hermitage. If I have freedom in my love, and in my soul am free, angels alone that soar above enjoy such liberty. So this poem was written when Richard Lovelace was in prison. During the English Civil War, he was a supporter of the king. He was a cavalier. And I want to share with you a little bit about what Carol Rumens wrote about this poem, because she has some good context for it, which might be helpful. And then she also offers some insights into the form and the themes of the poem that I'd like to share with you as well. She can do it better than I can. And she notes, quote, Parliament had ousted the Anglican bishops, and Lovelace's crime was to have presented a petition in their defense. There was a second longer sentence in 1648, which ended when the king was executed the following year. Lovelace's personal fortune was exhausted, and he died in poverty. But the saddest thing in his story, as usually told, is that his fiancée Lucy Sacheverell, Lucasta, married someone else, having been wrongly informed of Lovelace's death. Rumens then goes on to say this about the poem. The first stanza is more oddly complex in thought than it first seems. Althea's imaginary prison visit, courtesy of the free-ranging Cupid, gives rise to images of captivity, immuring the poet in deeper imprisonment. Althea's hair entangles him. He lies fettered to her eye. The paradox is not simply that the idea of love is liberty to an imprisoned lover, but that love itself is a prison. Nevertheless, the birds that wanton in the air know no such liberty. And then later on, Rumens goes on to comment on the most famous line of the poem, stone walls does not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage. And she writes, quote, these much-quoted lines herald a stanza in which the thoughts expressed seem to adhere, in the broad ethical sense, to a Puritan ideal, favoring self-denial and the emphasis on the inner light of personal conscience. The imagery of hermitage and angels confirms at least a meditative and deeply Christian turn of mind. Lovelace's poem, while displaying considerable arts of rhetoric, never preens or becomes bombastic. It's elegant and graceful, but conveys a passion that is more than style. It combines a cavalier flair and a Puritan toughness of conscience. It has the best of both worlds. If you want to read more about this poem, you can head over to The Guardian, search this poem, and then Carol Rumens' name, that's Rumens, and this article on this poem from September of 2013 will show up on The Guardian's website. So once again, here is To Althea from Prison by Richard Lovelace. When love with unconfined wings hovers within my gates, and my divine Althea brings to whisper at the grates, when I lie tangled in her hair and fettered to her eye, the birds that wanton in the air know no such liberty. When flowing cups run swiftly round with no allaying Thames, our careless heads with roses bound, our hearts with loyal flames. When thirsty grief in wine we steep, when healths and draughts go free, fishes that tipple in the deep know no such liberty. When like committed linnets, I with shriller throat shall sing the sweetness, mercy, majesty, and glories of my King. When I shall voice aloud how good he is, how great should be enlarged winds that curl the flood know no such liberty. Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage. Minds innocent and quiet take that for an hermitage. If I have freedom in my love, and in my soul am free, angels alone that soar above enjoy such liberty. This has been the Daily Poem. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow with another poem for you.